What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Robbie J. Fox, and I'm back with a brand new video. I am a little sick, or at least I think I'm coming down with congestion because the weather change or whatever. So excuse me if I do stop a lot in this video to blow my nose or whatever. But for today, for Horror Month, I am talking about a manga that was inspired from the movie, or rather the books, Children of the Corn, and you can obviously tell that it was by some of the aspects within the movie, especially since the name of this manga, which spoiler alert, the name of this manga is literally called Children. Yeah. And I'm gonna be completely honest here. This manga is good, but it's also kind of bad in a few aspects. Like, this is a manga that I would only recommend that you read for Horror Month. That if you're on the bus or if you're in a waiting room somewhere and you need a quick good 20 to an hour of time, 20 minutes to an hour of time to quickly read through something, then this is perfect for that. But if you're looking for a story that's really in depth and that's really going to grip you, this ain't it. This is not it, but it's definitely a good read. Now, this manga does have a lot of gore and violence and whatnot, so this is kind of somewhat beginner friendly for horror enthusiasts, but it does turn your stomach at a few at a few panels. Now, the main character's name is Igarashi Toru. Think I said that name right? I'm not entirely sure. Forgive me if I did. My Japanese is horrendous. He is a college student that took a 6-month part-time job in a child care facility located deep within the mountains to take care of children for 3 million yen. However, the remote area is less like a child care facility and more like a slaughterhouse, a processing plant that kills, cut up, and cremates adults. However, he's forced to play along in fear that he will be killed if he acts suspiciously. In truth, he plans on leaving, taking as many children with him as possible. However, he finds out that this is harder than imagined, since even though the people he is looking after are all kids, they are also all cold-blooded killers. There are rules to be followed at this facility, and if these rules are broken, there are severe consequences. Now, I want to talk about some of the good stuff within this manga before I go into the bad things, because there are some really fantastic things about this manga. For example, one of the incredible things this manga does is sets the tone. It sets the tone incredibly well. And I mean, from the jump, you get introduced to all of these adorable kids, and they are happy and playful, and everything seems rather decent. And then a few pages later, they turn into they change into complete killers. And the one thing I have to say is that the kids themselves seem unaware of how they change. So when you see the detail in the art on how they transform into these soulless murderers, it's actually pretty bone chilling. Now, as you read the story, you'll come to understand that these kids come from broken families and broken homes. Each of these backstories causes them to hate adults, and their hatred for adults runs pretty deep, as they do not hesitate to kill them. However, you tend to forget with how the manga switches up so heavily. In one panel, these kids are all positive and happy, and then in the next panel, they're all soulless, and then jumping into another panel where they're back to being innocent and joyful. It happens all pretty seamlessly and gives the manga quite the edge. One of the other things that makes this manga really good is the violence. Man, this manga is brutal, and some of this violence is really hard to stomach, especially when you realize it's kids committing the crime. Like I said, Children of the Corn. It is like a direct ripoff of Children of the Corn, except without religion and the cult aspect to it. It's just straight up murder. The art also really carries this manga. It really captures the essence of horror. When the atmosphere needs to be bright and heavy, it shows that using light strokes and make the art easy on the eyes. However, when things get dark, they change into this grimy, dark aesthetic that tells you something is about to get fucked. The children are also styled in a way where you can easily see their innocence by giving them this cute persona. Now, let's jump into some of the bad things about the manga, and these things make it really, really difficult for you to actually go through the manga. And I will admit, even though I finished the manga, by the time I got to the end of it, I wasn't really satisfied. So again, I am warning you, even though I do recommend this manga, I don't recommend it at the same time. Again, it's just, don't take this manga seriously. Just take it for what it is, because the stuff I'm getting into now is what kind of ruins this manga. First things first, plot holes. Plot holes are killers of good stories, and this one has some plot holes. One of the biggest plot holes, one of the biggest things I didn't quite understand, is that all of the kids at this facility or at this child care or whatever, they hate adults. They kill, maim, cremate. They get rid of the bodies of adults. But the main character is an adult. He comes onto this facility and no one questions it. No one has anything to say. They just accept it out of the blue. But at the same time, they hate adults. It's really weird because we don't really understand why he's special until the end. And then even by then, he's only special to one person. Like, none of the other kids have anything to do with him. So they all kind of just accept him out of the blue. Again, it makes no sense whatsoever. One of the other things that really gets me is that when people start dying around them, they start questioning the morality of what they're doing. Almost as if they haven't been killing people for years now. All of a sudden, they start to think, hey, maybe we shouldn't be killing people. Isn't this illegal? Like, fuck off. Honestly, like, in this entire story, they've been killing people. They have no hesitation, no questions. It's a game to them, obviously, because they're kids. And then all of a sudden, towards the end, they just like, oh, maybe what we're doing is a bad thing. Really? 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 You've been doing this for years. Really? Come on. It's so stupid. You can't start second guessing yourself when a few panels later, I just saw you butcher and murder a woman who did nothing to you. It's like you killed her, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have killed her. Shut up. The other bad things about this manga is that you can tell that it was rushed. It's only 13 chapters long, and I do feel like they needed another 10 to 15 chapters to really flush out a lot of things, because my God, the ending was confusing. And I won't spoil it because, you know, if you do decide to read it, there's no point reading it if I already tell you how everything goes. But the ending leaves you with more plot holes than it did in the beginning. Again, plot holes are a killer of good stories. Biggest thing that really pissed me off with this manga is the romance. There is romance in this manga. It's very subtle. They don't make it, you know, blatant, but there's like, man, how do I even put this? It's like the head teacher carries this manga really hard. Like, she's the most important character, I think, in this entire book. And obviously she's the main romance interest. But here's the problem. This is a child care facility. Everybody in this facility, it's all children. The guy who's the main, the MC, he's an adult. Do you see where the problem is? You see where we're going? Japan has this thing where they like to age up characters that kind of ruins things. Like, for example, this is just an example. We talk about the manga or anime Prison School. You're not gonna tell me Mari is 17. You're not. That bitch is 30. You're not. Look at her art. I refuse. I absolutely refuse. She looked like she pays taxes. She looked like she's been through some shit. There's no way you telling me she's a 17. Japan has this really bad thing of aging up characters that don't need to be aged up. If they're in high school, make them look like high schoolers. If they're in middle school, make them look like they're in middle school. If they're adults, make them adults. This manga suffers through the same problem. The main love interest is 14, but they try to make her out to be like this mature adult, and it ruins it, because often throughout this manga, you are reminded consistently that everyone here is a child. They are children. They even said on multiple occasions, she says she's 14. The main character, I think, is like 18, 19. And even if it is a 4-year difference, he's an adult, legally binding adult. She is a child who's barely hitting high school. This shouldn't be a thing. This should not be a thing. And it's not. It's very subtle, but it's also really, really annoying. I hated that part of the manga. And honestly, man, it just... it took away so much. It took away so much for me. But they do explain why she has a thing for him later on. but it's just unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary. It makes things awkward, and it kind of ruins the manga for me. But I mean, it is what it is. Can't really complain about it too much. I just think that if they took away some of these elements and you know, changed it around, it would have been a really solid manga. I also think that they needed more chapters because this manga was too short. It was too short. The story had a lot of plot holes in it, a lot of questions. You end up, the story ends with more questions than answers. They also gave like a little teaser at the end of the manga, which was unnecessary and unexplained. So it's just, oh man, it's, oh, ugh. No, it's just not great. Not a great manga. But again, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. It is only a manga that I would recommend if you only have a short amount of time to read something and you want to get something off. You know, you just want to get a little, you want to get your rocks off for horror, okay? But if I had to rate this manga, it would definitely be a 5 out of 10 because it's just not great. It's just not that great a manga. The art is incredible. The attention to detail, it's all there. The storyline, that's it. that's it for this video. I rate this manga 5 out of 10. This manga is called The Children. Without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please comment your thoughts down below. If you've read it, let me know. If you haven't and you do decide to read it, let me know your thoughts. Without further ado, my name is Robert J. Fox, and until next time, fuck off.
I got 69 bitches that don't do 69. I got 3 or 4 prospects who want to be mine. I got 9 baby mamas who claim that baby is mine. What do they all have in common? They all tell lies. It's all action, all passion, all work but no yeah. And the look in her eyes, you know she not acting. Turn the light off and watch me shine. I am absolute cinema, absolute cinema.